Hey guys, this is the instructional video for completing Classroom Practice 21 that is included in your April 13th week of work. Some of you may have completed this last week because I accidentally included it and then put an X on it and then told some kids to go ahead and do it anyway, forgetting why I had done that. So you know how Miss Cricket is. So Classroom Practice 21, our first exercise says to classify each sentence. Underline the complete subject once and the complete predicate twice. So what I want you to do at home is hopefully you've already completed this or done as much of this practice as you could on your own, and now you are simply checking to make sure that you did it correctly before you turn it in. If you already turned it in, it's okay, don't sweat it, okay? Alright, so we're going to go through the question and answer flow, and remember those questions and answers are very important. They help us know why we are labeling things the way that we are labeling them, and it's important for you to say those along with me as I go, okay? And then if you get behind, then all you need to do is pause the video and catch up. Okay, so let's read our first sentence together. Ready, set, read. Move slowly along the winding trails behind our house. Who move slowly along the winding trails behind our house? And the answer to that is you. It is an understood you, and that's our subject pronoun. What is being said about you? You move, verb. Move how? Slowly, adverb. Along is a preposition. So, along, preposition. Along what? Trails, object of the preposition. Winding answers the question, what kind of trails? So it is an adjective. The article adjective. Moving on to the next word in the sentence. Behind is a preposition. So behind, preposition. Behind what? House. Object of the preposition. And this word, our, answers the question, whose house? Possessive pronoun adjective. And remember, you have to say all of that and not just PPA. Subject, noun, verb, pattern 1. Skill check. Check for prepositions first. Along the winding trails, prepositional phrase. Behind our house, prepositional phrase. Period. But now this is not a statement. We are used to saying period, statement, declarative sentence. But this sentence is not a sentence. I mean, not a declarative sentence. It is a command. It is telling someone, you, to do something. It's telling you to move slowly along the winding trails behind our house. And so it is, period, command, imperative sentence. And most of the time, if not always, when you have an understood you as your subject pronoun, that almost always means that the sentence is going to be an imperative sentence, which is a command. And we label that IMP because we have an interrogative sentence that also starts with I, and we have to label it with 3 letters also. Okay, so period, command, imperative sentence, go back to the verb, divide the complete subject from the complete predicate. Underline the complete subject once and the complete predicate twice. Okay, and that's it for sentence number 1. Sentence number 2. They arrived too late for her graduation ceremony. Here's my verb. So, who arrived too late for her graduation ceremony? They. Subject, pronoun. What is being said about they? They arrived. Verb. Arrived how? To? No, that doesn't make sense. So we're gonna try a different question. Late answers the question, arrived when? Late. Adverb. 2 answers the question, how late? So that is also an adverb because an adverb can modify or describe a verb, an adjective, or another adverb. And in this case, it is describing another adverb. 4, preposition. For what? Ceremony, object of the preposition. What kind of ceremony? Graduation, adjective. Whose ceremony? Her, possessive pronoun, adjective. Period, and this is a statement, so it is period, statement, declarative sentence. Oh, sorry. Let's stop that for a second. We got to go back and do our pattern. Subject, noun, verb, pattern 1. Skill check. For her graduation ceremony. Prepositional phrase. Period, statement, declarative sentence. Go back to the verb. Divide the complete subject from the complete predicate. Underline the complete subject once and the complete predicate twice. And you are finished with exercise 1. Exercise 2 says to use sentence number 1 to complete the table below. And we know this as a noun chart. So I'm just going to put an asterisk up here beside sentence number 1 to remind me that this is the sentence that we are focusing on. So we've got to list the nouns that are used. You is a subject pronoun. And so because it's a pronoun, it's not a noun. Okay? So we don't list it in the nouns that are used. So the first noun that I see as I go through my sentence is trails. So I'm going to list that word first, trails. What is its noun job or its function in the sentence? Well, it functions as however we labeled it, which is an object of the preposition. Is it singular or plural? Trails is more than one, so it's plural. Is it common or proper? Well, it's not the name of a specific trail, so it's common. What is our simple subject? And here we are going to put you because that is our simple subject. In this case, it is also the complete subject. What is the simple predicate? Well, over and over and over again in class, we say, I have you repeat back to me, the simple predicate is the verb. The simple predicate is the verb. So what is the simple predicate in sentence number 1? Hopefully you said move, and you would be correct. Good job. The second and last noun that I see in sentence number 1 is house. Its noun job in this sentence, or its function, is also object of the preposition. Is it singular or plural? Well, it doesn't have an S on the end, and it's just house. So it's one house, and that would be singular. Is it common or proper? Well, it's not talking about the White House or something, some particular proper place. It is talking about a common, just a house, and so that would be a common noun. And you don't have to do anything there. Okay? Let's move on to exercise 3. The first thing you do in each sentence is to write the subject. So secondly, we're going to write S and 1 if the subject is singular, and P and 2 if the subject is plural. And we're going to underline the correct verb in the parentheses. So we have a few different things we have to do in order to follow all of the directions and complete this activity. So the first sentence says, you walk or walks to the park with William. All right, so let's first look at the subject. It says write the subject. The subject of sentence number 1 right here is you. Is you singular or plural? Now, probably in this sentence, it is talking to one person. However, you is an exception. It is always considered a plural when considering which verb to use. And so you is plural. And it follows rule number 2. Because plural verbs do not end in S. So you walk to the park with William. And most of the time you're going to know which verb to choose simply because of the way that it sounds. Sentence number 2. Jack looks like a pirate in that hat. What's the subject of this sentence? If you said Jack, you are correct. Jack is the subject. Is Jack singular or plural? There's just one, so he's singular. And so a singular subject uses a singular verb, and that is rule number 1. So Jack looks like a pirate in that hat. Well, singular verbs end in S, and so it is looks. Number 3, my feet hurt or hurts today. The subject in this sentence, this one can be a little bit tricky because so many of our sentences, the very first word is the subject, but not in this sentence. The subject of this sentence is feet. And we would know that by saying, what hurt or hurts today? And that would be feet, not mine. So feet is the subject, and is feet singular or plural? Feet means more than one, so that is plural. My feet hurt today. So it is going to follow the plural rule, which is rule number 2, which does not end with S or ES. And so obviously the correct verb is hurt. My feet hurt today. Tyler and I rides the same bus to school. Now the subject in this sentence is a compound subject. Tyler and I. Okay, there are 2 subjects. And so in a compound subject, obviously there's more than one, so that is plural. Tyler and I, since that's plural, the verb that we're going to use follows rule number 2. So we choose the verb that does not end in S. And this one's a little bit easier also because it's Tyler and I ride the same bus to school, and it just sounds right. So hopefully that's pretty easy for you to pick out. I like or likes ketchup on my fried potatoes. The subject in this sentence is I. It's a subject pronoun. Is I singular or plural? Well, it's singular, but it's labeled S, but it follows rule 2. It is an exception, okay? So you see this right here. It says exception I is labeled S with rule 2. So this one's different. It's a little bit tricky. And so because it follows rule number 2, it's going to need a plural verb, even though that kind of is crazy. But I like ketchup on my fried potatoes. Most of the time in your life, you are not going to need to know whether that's a singular or a plural verb and what rule it follows and all that business. You are just going to simply need to know which verb is the correct verb to use in the sentence because it needs to agree with the subject and make sense. Okay? Number 6, we ride or rides home on the bus every day. We is our subject pronoun. And we is obviously, is it singular or plural? Yes, plural. And it follows rule number 2, just like all the other plurals do, except for I. We ride home on the bus every day. So there's your verb. Exercise 4 says fill in the circle beside the correct answer. The definition for trail, and you should have seen this in your language packet this week. It gives you this word and it tells you all about this word, and it has multiple meanings. Trail can be a noun that means a path that you follow, but we only have two choices here, two choices of definitions to choose from. And so our definitions are to follow close behind or to go ahead. And so if you trail someone, then you are not going ahead of them, you are following them close behind. So we are going to bubble in this definition right here. So that shows you that trail can be a verb or a noun. And I apologize for the video quality of this document camera. It's not fun sometimes. Okay, I hope you did well on this. Have a great day, and I hope to see you soon.